The age-old quandary of quantity versus quality. Why have many peas when you could have a pod? Why have many rocks when you could have one mountain? And why do many little hits when you can instead process the condensed nuclear energy of a neutron star? Mystic casters do exactly one thing. They hit enemies really, really hard. Like an anime protagonist putting all their strength into one final attack, or me compiling everything in my bank account into one bulk sum just to not be able to afford tuition anyways. They do just that one thing, and somehow they're still not very good at it. Mystic casters are designed to deal bulk damage to stacked enemies, but wouldn't you know it, strong enemies tend to have high defensive capabilities. Even then, most of a Mystic caster's punch is concentrated in their stored charges, meaning once they've blown their load, any subsequent attacks are all saggy and flaccid, and as long as enemies keep trespassing onto their property, they're never gonna have the time to reload. They're kinda like the beta version of hunters. You gotta rearm the cannon if you don't want to shoot in blanks. Man, this video is gonna be nothing but innuendos, huh? Mystic casters are supposed to be boss killers, but bosses don't get one tap. They've got class. And second phases. Mystic casters attack so slowly that once they burn through their inventory, you might as well just retreat them, since all they're really doing at that point is asserting dominance and squandering a potentially crucial high ground tile. Now, in fairness, I'm a bit biased on this one. I fucking love attack speed. One of my favorite things to do in integrated strategies is print that shit like Venezuelan dollars. Perhaps this is a childish take, but it's kind of fun to watch Gatling gun Enos crank out an entire country's worth of GDP in the span of 12 seconds. Needless to say, operators with torturous attack intervals are not typically my go-tos, even when they are good, solely because I have the attention span of a 4-year-old and require constant motion at all times. Actually, maybe that's ADHD, it doesn't matter. Low attack speed is part of the reason I didn't like splash casters, and oh, would you look at that, Mystic casters are also a bunch of indecisive fucking slugs. Go! Attack! Please! I don't really use Mystic casters, but when I do, which I don't, I use Indigo. She's actually kinda good, but, you know, don't get used to me saying that. The one unspoken consistency between Mystic casters is their filters. Each operator in this archetype has some unique program of attack priorities, or some method to avoid ass blasting some random foot soldier with the power of the sun. For Indigo, that technique is Bind. Bind is a good status effect. Less enemies are resistant to it than stun, although bound enemies can still attack. As I mentioned earlier, Mystic casters live and die by their charge storage gimmick. Indigo intentionally does not attack bound enemies, an ailment she herself applies in order to store charges and hit them where it hurts once they've been freed. Incredibly, her skill actually feeds into this and boosts it into a viable technique. Indigo is one of the select few Arknights operators who is genuinely creative in her design, which is precisely why she's so goddamn fun to play. Her S2 reduces her attack interval and increases her talent procs, meaning she binds more enemies more frequently. She also deals respectable DOT to bound enemies. This skill is not only solid damage, but also an effective staller. But it's not the reason I sometimes use Indigo. That design, Crazy Bonker's long hair is such a good design trope in her vials of ectoplasm or magical snake cum, I don't know. Actually, now that I'm looking more closely at her, what the hell is going on with her tits? Is she using a belt as a bra? The fuck? That cannot be comfortable. God damn, ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 for 2 with these designs so far. Although in all honesty, I would not have guessed that she's a caster. Not with that fucking Buster Sword, man, putting guts to shame. That hat as well, very nice, reminds me of Mansfield Break Saria, and the jacket cape, man, so good, and I can't wait to check out her kit and... No, this can't be happening. You can't do this to me. You know how much I've sacrificed? No! Selective targeting is a gaming term you don't know because I made it up approximately 3 seconds ago. As far as I can tell, there's no official name for it, so I just made up my own. Fuck you, I do what I want. Some operators get all whiny about who they attack and when they do it and which direction you cut their sandwich, and it's always a colossal pain in the ass. With her second skill active, Delphine adamantly refuses to so much as lift a finger towards enemies with less than 50 HP. She just stands there, menacingly. The skill also causes struck enemies to take corrosive damage every second until the skill ends, which sounds good, but it's only 6% of her attack, so what's even the point? She can kill cannon fodder, yippee skip, but remember, this is a video about Mystic casters, a branch designed to neutralize elite and boss enemies, not dogs. This is without question the worst of the Mystic caster filters, because it actively prevents her from killing things. She's not allowed to kill enemies in a video game where the whole point is to kill enemies. On a fundamental level, all Arknights is killing things. That's all there is to it, so why is Delphine shackled with the pacifist route? Why is it the character who looks like a JRPG protagonist that's so anti-war? If the selective targeting of this skill was just removed entirely, she'd be a better operator. And I wouldn't be so upset about this if her design wasn't so good. Fuck. Harmony's filter is that she only attacks blocked enemies with her S2 active. This one is actually pretty decent because it gives you a lot of direct control over who gets absolutely flastered. Indigo relies heavily on RNG and Delphine relies on you being stupid enough to actually use her, but with Harmony, you can usually predict who and when she's going to be attacking. Is that still more effort than I'm usually willing to give? Yeah, it is. But at least this gives you the option to make high IQ plays. Or attempt to and fail miserably and then pretend you weren't actually trying to and things went exactly to plan. Hey, shut up. I know I'm not the only one who does that. So Harmony has a good filter, but does that make her a good operator? No. Res 2 is, I mean, you can see what they were going for. Kinda. She secretes a little puddle of drool that slows enemies within and then refuses to touch them until they start filling up another operator. I made that kinkier than I had to, but you get the idea. Basically, enemies get slowed, take longer to reach her defender or guard or whatever, and Harmony has more time to build up strength. It makes sense. It's too bad Harmony's just a wee Irish cunt with twig arms who couldn't lift a cardboard box. She just doesn't have the stats, which sucks, but what are you gonna do? I do like Harmony, devious little spy. Look at that face. Face of a war criminal. She doesn't just engage in tomfoolery, she was born in it. Molded by it. This is perhaps the least trustworthy individual in the entirety of Rhodes Island. Ain't that right, you fucking twat? Oops, I just realized I didn't mention anyone's first skill. Fortunately, they're all the same and thus equally ass. It turns their attack range into a bowling lane so they can attack quicker and do no damage. It's lousy and not worth talking about any longer. Instead, let's talk about the third absolutely masterful character design in this video. That's a 75% success rate so far. This is unheard of. Look at the cute little whorls in her hair, the flower, the Victorian Renaissance undertones, and the eyebrow raise. Are you seeing this? She does not respect you. Man, I love Iris. I can't wait to see her kitten. Oh, fuck off. Iris is a sleep operator, which is a bad sign because sleep is a dinky-ass status effect with very, very obscure applications. Only a select few operators can actually attack sleeping enemies, so more often than not, it just results in a brief intermission where everyone just kind of twiddles their dicks for a few seconds. Everyone except Iris, who uses the time to pack away a few charges. It's actually pretty genius, since everything coming to a standstill reliably benefits Mystic casters and only Mystic casters, which makes it very unfortunate that Iris also gets railroaded by low general stats. Her skill actually works and does exactly what it's supposed to do, she just doesn't pack enough of a punch to get much out of it. Iris also has this goofy little base skill that produces Dreamland. What's Dreamland? I don't know. Why did I even bring it up? I don't know. Do I really need to keep commenting on this pointless turn of events? Probably not, and yet here we are. Back when I was still a trembling tower defense virgin, I saw Ray on a banner and said to myself, I will have that. And I did not, in fact, get that. I was instead punished for my hubris with an off-banner Ebenholz. I vaguely recall my reaction being something along the lines of, oh well, it's not what I was going for, but I suppose I don't mind this outcome. And as a result, I feel cheated out of a valid crash out, so I will now make up for that. Ebenholz has sauce, I will not deny him that. His Twinkie German vibes are untouchable, but man, he's not very good, is he? I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. I have no idea how the fuck his S2 works. I didn't get it when I first pulled him, and I still don't. He makes a bunch of little floaty flatulent ghouls that kill themselves when anything gets too close. And I just realized how disturbingly accurate a description of myself that is. Eb's S3 filter is the most explicitly on-the-nose one yet. He only targets elite or boss enemies. If you're too weak, he simply doesn't care enough to kill you, which is profoundly disrespectful and somehow still very in character. Ebenholz is very, very good for approximately one attack, after which he becomes very, very bad. In integrated strategies, he wields truly terrifying potential as one of the funniest operators in the game, capable of effortlessly evaporating anything he so much as looks at. Ebenholz is not a good operator, but for as much as I hate to admit it, he's fun. He is quite the entertaining fellow, for better or for worse. The biggest surprise I encountered in making this video is that Mystic casters are actually pretty well designed operators. It's clear that a lot of thought goes into making them function properly through their filters and sleazy little methods of targeting stronger enemies. They're actually a lot of fun to goof off with, which is really not what I expected going into this. I suppose it's a good reminder to keep an open mind whenever you can. Not every operator has to be an ethereal deity of DPS. More often than not, just being fun is plenty. Is it easier to just play some meta operator and call it a day? Yes. Yes it is. But is it objectively more fun to place down a zesty German goat and banish Jabba the Hutt to the Shadow Realm? Yes! Yes it is! If your goal in this game is to make the most broken team possible, I'd steer clear of these fellas. They aren't the operators you're looking for. But if you're down to play with fire and potentially scorch your account with permanent 3rd degree damage, and maybe give a Mystic caster a shot. What's the worst that happened? At the very least, belt titties won't eat up too much of your materials. No, I'm not over the belt yet. How the hell did I only just notice that?